Okay, so first I'm just going to introduce myself and then maybe you could introduce yourself. Is that okay? Okay, cool. So hi, my name is Kat Bujard and I am a graduate assistant working with Beyond Academics this summer.
Hey, so I'm Allie, and I am a BSW student, Bachelor of Social Work, and also the president of Advocacy for Access, Action, and Adaption beginning fall 2020.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you so much for being here. So maybe we could start with you just telling me maybe what we need to know about your club before I get into my questions. So what should students know about A4 or Advocacy for Access, Action, and Adaption?
Yeah, so Advocacy for Access, Action, and Adaption, or as we lovingly call it, A4, is a group for all UNCG students who are in any way interested in disability advocacy. So that's people with and without disabilities coming together to educate the community about what it means to be an advocate and what it means to be a friend to people within the disability community.
Awesome. Thank you. That sounds great. So you kind of already answered my first question, but I'll just ask again, who is your club for? So any certain majors or, groups of students, any particular skill set, who's it for?
So it's for everybody. We have a diverse group of people from every people group that you could possibly think of who have kind of come together and partnered with us to fulfill our mission, and anyone and everyone is welcome. If you know a lot about disability, great. If you don't, we can teach you. That's the whole point of the club. So don't think, oh, this isn't right for me because I'm XYZ. No, if you are a person, this club is for you.
So if you're a person, this club is for you. I like that a lot. Great. So where and when does your club meet in the fall?
So because everything for the fall is so up in the air, we don't know the when or the where yet. We're kind of still trying to put things together to get that figured out, but normally we meet in classroom buildings, and um, we really try to pick places that are comfortable for students of all abilities and that have good accessibility. So we've met in the last couple semesters both in MHRA and in the School of Education building, just because they're easy to navigate and they're kind of close to the center of campus. Um, you know, we try really hard to pick places where there's not going to be a lot of foot traffic or interruptions, but also places where someone who hears what we're talking about and becomes interested in it, if they want to pop in, they can.
Okay, okay. So you kind of already spoke to this because of course we don't know exactly what the fall looks like. If we do have to change to like distance learning or online learning, how do you think the club might be affected then?
Well, our club, we try to meet at least once every 2 weeks with general body members just to create a sense of community. If we have to move to online or distance learning, then the club will as well somehow. Um, it's probably going to be something akin to Zoom or um, the other one for Google that I can't, Google Hangouts. That's it.
Yeah. Hmm.
Probably going to be something like Google Hangouts, just because we like to see people's faces, and that's a really important part of what we do is community. So we'll probably try to do something like that. But for right now, with everything kind of being there for being on campus for the fall, we are trying our best to kind of think of contingency plans, but hoping that we won't need them.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you so much. I'm glad you said that because I know that people are going to watch this video and they're going to be like, I want to join right now, but it can always make us feel a little worried when we don't know what might happen. So I like that you have some like, this could happen or this could happen.
Yes, and just because I don't want this to be a stumbling block for people either, um, with the whole mask mandate that the campus has come up with, we are trying to find ways to work around that for students who are hard of hearing and
Hmm.
who have hearing impairments, so that they can still participate fully.
Hmm.
At the end of this, if it's all right with you, I'm going to share my email. And if anyone watching this video has any thoughts on how we could do that, I would be happy for any feedback on that.
Yeah, yes, I definitely would love that, because that is something to think about. It's hard to understand people, even if you're not hard of hearing, when you can't see a lot of what, all the cues that we use to understand what's going on. So I totally, yeah, that would be great. Um, you already talked about this a little bit, so please repeat yourself or expand on it if you want to. What type of environment can students expect? So with the noise level or traffic, maybe music, the size, maybe wheelchair access, bathroom access, things like that. What could people expect or you hope they could expect?
So if we're on campus next semester, which again is the plan, like I said, we normally try to meet in some of the more accessible buildings on campus. MHRA and School of Ed have been the two that we've used in the past, but we've also done some things before in the EUC. We try to be as sensory friendly as we can. So we do our best to kind of keep things as quiet as possible. But in a public place, things happen, people get loud. As far as wheelchair access is concerned, I'm in a wheelchair myself. So that's kind of one of the first things that I think of, because if I can't successfully lead or be a part of the meetings if I can't get to them myself. So we try to be as accessible as humanly possible. But in the event that something happens and we do have an accessibility issue, we normally try to have some sort of a backup plan or a communication plan with students. So if it's like, hey, y'all are meeting in a place that I can't get to, okay, well, we can't always change the place of the meeting, but someone in our executive board will be happy to meet with you one-on-one and kind of fill you in on what you missed in the event that something happens with the accessibility of the room.
Okay, great. Thank you for that. Yeah, that helps me. Um, and it makes me feel like you guys are willing to figure things out if you need to. That's awesome. What are some social norms of your space for students to be aware of? Like maybe like when the meeting starts, maybe everyone chats and hangs out for a while, or maybe you get right to business. Like what can we kind of expect?
So our meetings aren't normally very structured. We do a lot of what I call advocacy through friendship. So the whole point of the club is kind of teaching people, teaching the community, but building friendships for people with disabilities and without on campus first. So normally what will happen is, well, the first meeting of the semester, for example, there's always like the president will come in and start what we call highs and lows. So we'll go around the room and everyone will share a high for their week, something really good that happened, and a low for their week, something that made them kind of feel a little down or weird or whatever the case may be, because like I said, friendship is important. And then from there, we'll kind of move into whatever the activity was for that day, whether it's a PowerPoint kind of explaining who the club is and what we do, or if we're planning, if we take general body time to plan for an event, we'll have PowerPoints and things that we kind of go through. But we also do a lot with like creative projects. So crafting, vision boards, things such as that are a big part of what we do, and it's just a really fun time for people to come together and just do things together. I think something that I've been really taught during this whole COVID-19 thing is just how important human interaction and community really is. So that's kind of something that I'm really going to try and focus on a lot once the semester hopefully kicks in and we get back to something a little closer to normal. Community is a really big part of what we do.
Yeah, I love that. Thank you. Yeah. And the friendship piece, I've got more questions about friends in a minute. Um, but I love everything you said. That's great. Um, my next question is, does it cost anything to join your club or to be an active member?
I don't believe so.
Mhm.
Um, no, I don't think that we have any fees or dues or anything. We're not an honor society. We're simply an advocacy club. So I don't think that we have any dues or anything. Um, as but with that, we do have to do fundraisers and things like that. So we will ask general body, hey, if you can and you feel comfortable, contribute to our fundraisers either by tabling with us and working with us to sell product, or tell your friends and they can come buy things.
Yeah, yeah, cool. Thank you. And maybe I should ask before we keep moving forward. We keep using this word that is really important, advocacy. Can you tell me a little bit about what you mean by advocacy, just so that everybody understands?
So I think, first of all, it's important to say that everyone's definition of advocacy is different.
Hmm.
So what you hear from me might be different than what you hear from somebody from another club. But for me, advocacy is simply telling a story, telling your story, talking to people about your life so that they understand more about what you experience and they can be a better friend or help you in some way if you need it, if that makes any sense at all.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. And I apologize. I think there's a dog barking in my background. So
That's okay. The TV is on in mine because I can't find the remote to turn it off. So
that's okay. Yeah. And we can always edit out little sounds if we can. I don't know. We'll see. But thank you for explaining what advocacy is, because I think that's a central part of your club. And so I just want to make sure everyone understands what that's about. So thank you for explaining. Um, my next question is, how welcoming is your club to new people or beginners?
we love new people. We love new faces. We love beginners. Everyone was everyone was new at something at one point. So we really welcome new people, beginners. If you're interested and you feel like maybe this is something I want to do, but I'm not sure if I know how, that's great. The entire point of the club is to teach people and to educate the community, but also we're here to help you learn how to advocate for yourself or for other people. So
Mhm.
we are more than willing to teach you everything you need to know. And even if you think you don't know anything, you would really be surprised how much of this you do on a daily basis, and maybe you don't even recognize it. I know when I first started my advocacy journey, um, when I was in high school, I was super, super intimidated by like going and talking to people and standing up for, hey, this is something in my environment that isn't working for me, and I need you to help me change it. That was really intimidating for me because I'm not the type that really likes to go and talk to people and do that. That's just not my style. So I was really intimidated at first, but I had some really good teachers and I have learned so much, and now I get to help teach other people, which is really, really cool.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
don't worry about being intimidated. We all are at first.
Yeah, yeah. That you rolled right into like, I was going to say, like, what would you say to a student who feels intimidated or uneasy? And, what I heard you say was, we all have been, and that's okay. And we're here to help each other. So I love that. Um, how does your club market or advertise to students or potential members? So where should we look and what should we be looking for?
So we do a lot of advocacy through, or advertising, I'm sorry, not advocacy. We do a lot of advertising through posters.
Hmm.
So we will sometimes reach out to department heads or people on campus who we know to see if they'd be willing to put up a poster or a flyer for us. But another big thing uh, for members or people who think they might want to be involved, we have an email list. So you will learn a lot through we try to do, when school's in session, we try to do weekly emails.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
you will learn a lot about our club, who we are, what we do, and our upcoming events through the weekly emails.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah. Okay, great. So, and then maybe where can they sign up for your weekly email?
So we don't have a real formal sign up process at this
Okay.
point.
Hmm.
Um, so I believe my email is on the Spartan Connect. So if you can
Okay.
access that, great. If not, um, like I said, I'm gonna give my email out at the end of this video. So
Great.
if you guys are interested in joining, just shoot me an email and I will try to either add you to the list or create a new one. I really don't know how that works yet. I'm still learning all of this myself. So, but we will definitely figure out some way or another to keep you connected. We also have a Facebook group and an Instagram page.
Okay, great. Yeah.
So, yeah, if you just go, I'm not sure about the Instagram page because I don't have an Instagram, but if you go into the Facebook page and look for Advocacy for Access, Action, and Adaption UNCG,
Hmm.
it should pull up.
Okay, great. Thank you. Yeah. Okay, so when people decide, you know what, I want to be a part of this club, how do you expect students to get involved with and engage with the club? What would you like them to do once they're a member?
So once you're a member, of course, it's always wonderful to see all of your beautiful faces at general body meetings. And that's really going to be one of the biggest ways to build community and make friends kind of as we move forward together. But we also do big events like once or twice a semester. So
Uh-huh.
for the fall, I think we're trying to put together something that's called the Disability Empowerment Celebration. And what that is it's a kind of a big exhibition of like, yes, hi, I'm here, I have a disability, or I don't have a disability, but I love someone who does, or I know someone who does, and I need you to know that I can do this cool thing, or that this cool thing exists, so I'm going to teach you about it. And it's so we had different, our plan was to have like different student presenters come up and talk about, either share a talent or a passion that they have, which was really cool because we had someone who was going to do like a dance routine or something like that, or come up and tell us something that you wish we knew about you as a person and as an advocate, kind of just sharing with the community. So I think that's going to be our big thing for fall. We would love to have presenters because I think some of the presenters that we were going to have when we were supposed to do this in the spring before COVID-19 kind of exploded onto the scene. Um, I think some of our presenters have since graduated, so we would love to have student involvement with that, and we're going to start kind of working on putting that together in July. So again, if students are interested with working with disability empowerment or have something that they would like to share, same email. So hey, I'm interested in joining the email list, but also I'm interested in disability empowerment. Just send me an email and we'll try to get you hooked up with the right people to make that happen.
Awesome. Thank you. So it sounds like you've already got plans for big events going that are going to happen. And yeah, so that's exciting. I hear that you've got a lot going on. So even despite the COVID and things going on. So thank you. Um, does your club socialize outside of club meetings? And if so, how?
So we haven't yet, but this was something that was kind of on the docket. We were trying to figure out how to do like a once a month kind of meet off of campus on Tate Street,
Hmm.
just so that people wouldn't have to drive because I know that that's an issue for me. I can't drive. So, anything we do that's kind of off campus or outside of club meetings, we do our best to make sure it's something that everyone can get to. So we were gonna try and do like maybe a once a month kind of hangout on Tate Street, but we didn't really get too far into planning that before everything got shut down. So that's something that we are looking really forward to trying to start again in the fall and kind of just see where it takes us.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that sounds great. I think that sounds like a lot of fun too. Because what I know is that a lot of students, they might attend the club meeting, but then they might want something more later. And that's great. And that leads into my next question. How many club members would you say are friends outside of the club meetings?
Um, I'm going to be really honest with you and say that I don't know. Um, Unfortunately, due to the craziness that was my schedule, both in the fall and last semester, I wasn't able to make it to a bunch of the general body meetings because I had work. So I didn't really get to see a lot of the relationships that were formed, which really kind of made me sad because that's my favorite part of this whole thing is getting to see people form relationships. But so I don't know, but that's something that we're going to try and really make a concerted effort to focus on that in the fall.
Yeah, yeah. And I heard you say that with the advocacy through friendship. Um, so yeah, making effort to have friends and make connections sounds really good. Um, but at the same time, I know that it's hard to be a student and hard to, you know, get involved.
it
Um,
it definitely can be.
yeah, yeah. How can students remain connected after they graduate? Can they?
Yeah, so our Facebook group is open to UNCG current students as well as club alumni. So you can definitely remain connected after you graduate. You can also uh, feel free to, if there's someone that you connect with, ask them, hey, can we hang out outside of this? Or can I get your phone number? Can I add you on Facebook? Like, I am always up for new Facebook friends. So if you want to stay connected with me or with the club or really with anyone, it's just a matter of asking, I
Hmm.
think.
Hmm. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. And the famous question, do you have a mission statement?
We do. And I'm sorry, I don't have it memorized, so I'm gonna have to read it.
That's
But
okay.
yes, so advocacy for action for access, action, and adaptions mission statements. Mission statement is this organization's goal is to advocate for those who have disabilities on UNCG's campus and to educate through group discussions and activities about various disabilities, including topics such as misconceptions, misinformation, and adaptive technology.
Mm.
So we really try to do a lot with, like I said, group discussions, making connections, making friendships. And we try to kind of end the stigma in a lot of cases. And what that looks like can be entirely different um, depending on depending on what your disability is. That can look entirely different for each person. But I think that's part of the beauty of it
Mhm.
is that we kind of learn to see beyond all misconceptions and not just the ones that apply to us personally.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah. And it sounds like learning about different folks and different needs is helpful for that. And that kind of goes into that advocacy piece. Great, thank you. Would you like to add like any values or traditions to like your club? Any things that your club really values?
So, like I have kind of, I feel like I've said the same thing like 17 times, but I'll say it again. community and friendship is a big part of what we do. Education is a huge part of what we do. You know, and we really love to see people come together and kind of learn about one another and learn how to make the community a better place.
Mm, I love that. I love that every time, even though you've said it a lot of times, I think you say it better and better each time. So if I ask more questions about it, I'm going to keep asking you because you keep saying it like really well. So thank you. um, in your experience, and I don't know, I think we kind of talked a little bit about this before we started recording, but how have you witnessed beyond academic students or students a part of the program I'm representing engaging with the club in the past? Or if you haven't, you know, what would you like to see?
So we haven't had a lot of uh, kind of work with we haven't had a lot of work with beyond academics or kind of engagement from beyond academics students as of yet, but that's something that I would really love to see. I think that there's a lot that can be learned from kind of the integration of that program into what we do, so that's something that I would really love to see.
Mhm.
But so far we haven't had a lot of kind of interaction as of yet.
Okay, thank you. Um, how important is diversity to your club? I'm sure.
It it is the heart of what we do. It really is the heart of advocacy, the heart of really the world in general, but advocacy specifically is embracing diversity. And so that's a huge part of what we do. You know, we love hearing diverse perspectives, we love hearing life stories. That's a huge part of both what the club does, and for me personally, that's a really important part of kind of my everyday life is diversity and hearing other people's experiences. So
Yeah, yeah. Thank you for that, definitely. And you mentioned this earlier again, so I'm sorry to have you repeat yourself, but what accommodations does your club provide for variously abled students across a range of needs?
yeah, so beyond kind of the things that I talked about earlier with trying to pick rooms that are physically accessible, we also try to have PowerPoints at every meeting, so that if in the event that like you're a visual learner, for example, and you're not going to really be able to interact with something unless you see it first, we we can accommodate that. We are trying to work with the ORS office to get an ASL interpreter for the fall. But that has been a very slow going process. That's something that we've actually been working on for the last several semesters, and it's yet to happen.
Mm,
And that's something that, you know, we're really trying to figure out now as we go forward, just because of the mask mandate that UNCG has kind of put into place. Like, how are we going to work around that and still make sure that our club is accessible to everyone? So one of the things that we had thought about, and one of the things that the exec board is kind of throwing around, is trying to figure out how to make masks the with the clear windows
yeah, yeah, I have
for
seen
for
those.
for students who read lips. Now, the issue with that is none of us sew, and so there's kind of been that little snag, but we're trying to kind of work around that to make it as accessible as possible. And again, I know I keep saying this, but if you guys who are watching this have any idea on how we can be better accommodating, please send me an email. I will be happy to do whatever I can do. Like, as long as it's within my power, I will try to make sure it's done to make sure that everyone can access this. Because what's the point of having a club like this if not everyone can come and get enjoyment out of it?
Yeah, yeah. Thank you so much for that. I think you're doing a great job of making people feel safe and comfortable in reaching out to you. So I I want to join, and and I want to try to figure out those masks too. I've seen some of those, but I don't know, you know, if in going out and trying to get some, it means like paying a pretty penny for them, or like what you said, like, is it possible to make our own? That'd be really great. Maybe a project or something.
And we're working, or we are trying to kind of get in touch with the ORS office to see kind of what their plans are for adapting to that as well, because especially not just for students who are relying on lip reading, but ASL is also hugely reliant on facial expressions. So
Yeah.
they've got to have a way to accommodate that. We just don't know what it is yet. So we're trying to get in touch with them and work really closely with them so that we can kind of figure that out for ourselves as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for doing that. Um, Next is, does your club connect in any way to academic or career skills? And if so, how?
Yeah, so we try to do at least, no, normally it's right around finals, but we try to do every semester at least one meeting that looks at and works on study skills, and uh, things like reading comprehension are big, things like highlighting and note taking are big. We haven't been doing as much with career readiness, but
Mhm.
that is actually something that I personally would like to work on this semester. Part of our disability empowerment celebration was a partnership with the Career Services Center that's in the EUC. So I would really, part of my goals for this semester coming in as kind of the new president are to, I kind of want to get in touch with them, get in touch with career services and see if there's a way to integrate career readiness into what we do. I don't know much about that, so I'm not the one that knows how to do that. But if I can get in touch with somebody who does know how to do that, that's something that I think would be hugely helpful in the
Yeah.
kind of purpose and mission of our club.
Yeah. I think that would be fabulous because I think, career readiness applies to everybody, right? Because that's the goal, that's the dream someday, right? Is to get into a career that you love. Okay, my next question, which you can definitely say pass on this one, or if you don't know, that's a-okay. Because what I'm finding is a lot of clubs don't know about it, and that's okay. Does your club, uh, let's see, to the best of your knowledge, how does your club relate to the co-curricular transcript? And I'll pull out I know it's going to be it's going to be backwards to you guys when you see it. Um, this has 6 competencies, which again, you can just say like skip or pass. I don't know. That's okay. The 6 competencies are intercultural and global understanding, interpersonal skill and intrapersonal competence, civic literacy and social responsibility, leadership and ethical development, health and wellness, and career, professional, and financial development. Do you think your club relates in any way to, like, just off the top of your head, to any of those things?
Oh yeah, definitely. Now we definitely don't hit all of those, but we do try to do a lot with specifically intercultural and global understanding. Uh, we try to do at least one event that relates to the intersection of disability and some other heritage.
Mm,
So I think, for example, during fall semester is Hispanic Heritage Month, I believe, and
mhm,
so
mhm.
part of what we had tried to do in the past, and it hasn't been largely successful, but we're going to try it again, is to kind of have an event or have a meeting that somehow focuses on the intersection of disability within the Hispanic community, for example. We also really try hard to work with kind of social responsibility.
Mm,
and kind of, because advocacy is not just I'm going to stand here and I'm going to advocate for what I need. It
mhm,
is also kind of taking that and then going, okay, so now that I know how to talk about what I need, I am now going to try and learn to talk about what other people need
mm,
and
mm.
kind of help them get what they need so that they can be more successful in society, just like somebody has helped me.
Yeah.
So we try to do some of that. To mind off the top of my head, but if this is something that we see like a large influx of people who are interested in these things and who know how to get these things done, it's something that I'm sure we could somehow integrate into a little bit as we go. It's just not something that unfortunately I know a lot about at this moment.
Yeah, that's a-okay. And what I'm finding is that a lot of folks don't, but I think that a lot of clubs relate to it without even realizing it. And so I just wanted to take the time to highlight it if you thought it might. Lastly, is there just anything else that maybe I didn't ask or should have asked, or anything you didn't get to talk about that you'd really like to?
Um, yeah, so like I've said throughout, this club is really about friendship and community, and that's really the heart of who we are. So, you know, I really think that um, we try to, and we try to kind of take that off of UNCG's campus some too. So we do try to do like um, some community service. We do try to partner with some community organizations just so that people can take what they're learning with us and kind of apply it to their everyday lives. So if that's something that you're interested in, and or of a community organization that would be interested in partnering with us and having us there kind of to just help out, that would be incredible if someone would reach out to me and say, hey, I think I know of someone who would be interested in this and they have connections to this place. That would be great. But like I said, this club is really about friendship and community for people with disabilities and without. And that's something too that I think people have this big misconception about our club, that you have to have a disability to join. You don't. You don't even have to know somebody who has a disability in order to join this club. You just have to be willing to learn about it. And that's really what we're here to do, is teach and build friendships and learn together.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Great. Thank you so, so much. I would love to uh, find the links to like the Facebook page and the Instagram page. So what I'll do is I will link them to this video so that people can get them, as well as your email. If you know your email address off the top of your head and you want to share it, that'd be great too.
Yeah, so my email is ARCLAYTO, no N, at uncg.edu.
Okay, great. And that way, and I'll make sure that I have that uh, posted as well so that people can email you directly if they want more information or if they want to be a part of the newsletter, so that they can get more information about what's going on.
That sounds great.
Yeah, thank you so much for your time. I think what I'll do now is I'll stop recording.